call to order here for the second meeting of the BOC here in January. This is our evening meeting. Glad to have you with us. Glad each one of you could saw fit to be here tonight. And we'll get on, and we'll just ask you if you would please stand with us for our invocation, and then we will do our prayer. And I'll just ask you this time, please bow with me. Father, we just come to you, thanking you so much for the good that you do us. Lord, we just thank you so much even for blessings you're going to do for us in the future. And Lord, we look to you always for guidance, for leadership. Lord, just take that road and help us as we go through this meeting, and help us do those things that will be just and fitting for Marietta County. Just may give us more victory in Christ Jesus' name. Amen. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flags of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. Thank you. I've already been advised there's a couple of adjustments here on our agenda. If you would, down under old business number 7, the ordinance will be tabled. We will not bring that up tonight. Under new business, we're going to add the courthouse square usage for lighting. Is there anything else that needs to be done at this time? Do I hear a motion that we adopt the agenda?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Okay. You've got a copy of the minutes here from the last meeting. I'm sure you've had time to look at these, and I just like to need a motion to accept them. If there's no changes. Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion at all? Let it be known by the uplifted hand that you approve. Thank you. At this time, we're open for municipal comments. As I look around the room, Mayor Glover, I saw you, but yeah, you're there.
I have none, thank you.
Oh my goodness. Any other cities represented tonight? Okay, I'm sorry.
And you have Warm Springs also, it's Robin.
Oh, Robin, you are back there, I'm sorry.
I don't have anything.
Any comments? Okay, none. Mr. Don?
I will follow the precedent. I have no comments.
Just no comment? Okay, since I see no others, I'll move on to our constitutional officer, Sheriff Chuck Smith.
No, sir, thank you.
No comments, and there's not another constitutional officer here, I don't believe. Okay. Well, let's move on to department heads. I guess I can see Skip's knee. I'll start with him.
Nothing at this time.
Nothing at this time. Okay. Alphonse?
No report this evening, thank you.
Nothing at all? Ron, will you have anything before?
No, I don't have anything unless you have questions in public hearing.
Okay. Miss Carolyn, I think I'm to you.
Thank you. I have 4 quick things, but they're all quick. One is I want to remind you all about Capitol Day next Tuesday, a week from today, January 30th, and the bus will be departing at 8 a.m. from Warm Springs. I've sent y'all out information. More recently, the link has come through from Harris County that they want people to register through that link rather than just calling me or sending me an email. So if you haven't done that and you're interested in going, we would love to have you. If there's anybody else that you want to recommend from the community that wants to go, we'd be glad to have them also. Number 2, we have scheduled some free Excel training for some folks. We opened that up not to the whole county, but we sent an invitation to the county government and to the school system and so forth. So we have 10 people signed up that will be using the laptops that the organization is going to bring. And then I have nine more slots that you would need to bring your own laptop. So if there's anybody that in your place of business, anybody you want to recommend that would like to participate in free Excel training, that will be held on February 9th at 10 a.m. right here. You can just send me a note, so I'll know how many people, because we can only accommodate a total of 20. Business after hours, we have, as you all know, a new business in Warm Springs Cellars, and we're having a business after hours there. You know, in the past, I've encouraged people to come out and participate in these because it was good to show support and network and, you know, make contacts. Now, I've got a new message I'm trying to advocate for, and that is our community needs new businesses, and we, as a community, need to do everything we can to support our businesses and make sure they are successful. And one of the best ways we can do that is to come out and meet this new business owner who is not from Meriwether County. She lives in Fayetteville, but she has chosen Meriwether County to establish her business. So this is a wine and carts the day after Valentine's Day. So I hope you all will attend. Anybody else wants to attend, we're welcome.
Where are they located?
Right next to between the Bullock House and the dressing room.
Okay.
Right there on the main square. And then, let's see, the last thing I just wanted to let you know about is we are working with we have a governmental affairs subcommittee with our chamber. Bill Gregory and Robert Hyatt are heading that up, and we're working on arrangements for a post-legislative briefing with our local representatives and senators, and that is tentatively scheduled for April the 17th. And of course, I'll be sending out more information on that. Well, that's a good question, because he's going to. He asked me that question, and I said, well, I do not know. I imagine it's going to be a mixed group as far as their level of expertise. So he's going to kind of gauge the group. He said he'll start at the beginner level, and then he'll speed it up if he sees that everybody's with him.
Thank you for that, Ms. Carroll.
You're welcome.
Looks like that ends. Nobody else came in for this from the department head comments. At this time, we'll enter our public hearing phase. Is there anything you need to ask? Go in, Mr. Clerk.
No, sir. We have, take down staff tonight, we have Mr. Garrett, just recommend Mr. Garrett, maybe briefly just recap the public hearing request tonight, as an ordinance up here.
That's all I need to do, open public hearing. Well, at this time, I have a motion to open public hearing. Is there a second? All in favor? Okay, we're in public hearing. If you would listen to Mr. Garrett, whoever's going to lead us here.
Okay, if you remember from our last meeting, we had an alcohol application placed by Miss Kochar at 2120 Primrose Road, known as Clemens Grocery Store. And she did not have her licensed representative here at that time, so he's with her tonight, and maybe you can get some more information. I think there was someone to talk to the licensed representative. I want to be sure that he was here. So he's here tonight, and she's here also. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Mr. The lady, please.
You can ask if they would like to speak.
Would y'all like to speak on this issue?
I think there's one point of clarification, and we talked about this and looked at our alcohol beverage. It indicates that you need to have either the licensee be a resident or the licensed representative be a resident of Meriwether County. And I think there was some concern at the last meeting as to the licensee and then the licensed rep, what the role of the licensed rep is going to be. Because I think they are supposed to be involved in the resident of Meriwether County shall be responsible for receiving all notices and shall be, full-time employee who assumes some active role. I think what we're trying to clarify was what was the role, because I think the applicant actually had indicated that she and her family were going to be the ones to manage this facility, and maybe the license rep was going to have a different role. So I think we need to ask them to clarify what that role is.
We certainly do. And you're Mr. Kirby Lamar Reed?
Yes, I am.
Come on up to the front, sir, if you like, if you would. You are the licensed applicant we have. You're the representative.
Maybe she could come on up.
Yeah, come on up, I'm sorry, and it's pronounced Heine?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I think the thing is, the question revolves around whether or not you're gonna be at the store.
Yes, I am.
And how will that turn out? I mean, what will you be doing?
Basically, I'll be part like managing and do all the any kind of renovation, anything around there to help them out. Anything basically that gonna help the store grow.
You will be on site during times of operation.
Yeah, not all times, but sometimes.
Are you helping with the construction, or are you helping with the?
Throughout the whole thing,
business?
the whole thing.
But you helping, because last week she said that you would not be employed at
I'm
the
not,
store.
I'm just gonna be there helping them out throughout whatever they want done there at the store.
But not employed?
No.
Okay, not employed.
I would like clarification, if I may, Chairman, that the amount of times you will be at the store, like hours, when will you be there?
Basically like morning times, I'd be there like early mornings from when they open, like if they open up at 7, I'll be there till noon, you know, making sure the things they need there, it need to be fixed, anything need to be done around the building and throughout it.
From 7 to noon every day?
Yes.
What are the store operations? What are your days you're gonna be open?
It will be 7 days a week.
7 days a week, okay. That clarifies.
And I will just add for the board's information, under subsection 5 of our alcohol ordinance, it says that the named licensee shall be active in the operation of the outlet and personally be present on the premises sufficiently to ensure compliance with the provisions of this chapter. It's somewhat vague, but I think that the intent of the ordinance is to ensure that the licensee himself is the individual responsible for compliance with this. In my opinion, then we need to be on the premises sufficient amount of time.
And having heard his answer, do you think that complies?
Well, morning hours aren't what I'm really concerned about, things going
Okay.
wrong at a store selling alcohol, beer.
Okay.
As the applicant, as the licensed rep, there would be some liability responsibility back
Correct.
to you as well.
Correct.
Because you would be the holder of the licensed rep, and be responsible for receiving any notices, if there's violations. Those would all come to you, I think, as defined as a licensed rep.
Are you a resident of Maryland County?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
On the definition, Susan, this is on page, I think, 122. If the business be operated by partnership, closed corporation, or other business entity, the licensed rep shall be a managing full-time employee with Susan active.
I understand they're LLC.
So, that's a question, So you would not be a full-time employee?
No,
You would be more of a property manager
basically.
than a store manager?
Yeah, somewhere in between, just like property.
And I'm just trying to gather information for the board's
Certainly.
use.
Commissioners, are there other questions?
I have a question. Go ahead.
Okay.
So would you be actually counting money coming in? Would you actually be waiting on customers coming into the store? Or are you just there to fix things?
It's not just to fix things. Any part of the road they need me to help them out, because these are my friends. I've been knowing them for so many years, and and they've been behind me 100%. So I'm there with them 100%. And trying to help them grow.
Okay, do you have other employment?
Yes, I do.
That's what I was wanting to know. If you have other employment, how you were going to be there and provide 5 hours per day, 7 days per week, which is 35 hours,
Okay.
almost a full-time job on top of other employment, but with no type of financial.
Yeah. And see, with my job, I'm real flexible with it. I actually can travel. It don't matter. And, I work for Yamaha, but I'm limited on my hours. So whenever time I need to leave, I can leave anytime and make my own hours. I'm not just a employee there. I'm a contractor.
But at the store, at this place of business, would you receive a salary or be paid for your time, or are you volunteering?
A little both, you know, a little both.
Other questions? I suppose I need to ask the questions for the audience.
You do.
Nobody come up.
You could ask if anyone else wants to speak in favor of it, and then you could ask anybody opposed, and then close the meeting.
Well, I have a list here. Benny Sewell, Melvin Sewell, and James Clements, they'll be coming up behind you. If there's no further questions for this couple, I'm going to ask them to sit down and go to the show. Thank y'all very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Benny Sewell, would you come forward, please? I believe you're the property, you're not the property owner, but you're a neighbor there.
I'm the property owner.
You are actually the property owner, I forget.
I'm one of them, the property owner. Mr. Clement, he not, no owner of the property. You don't own that property. I'm a one owner, and now there's disagree about the alcohol sale. And the guy, what I said,
You're against the alcohol sale?
right,
Okay, sir.
I'm against it. But where this guy come from, I don't know. That's it.
Any more questions, Mr. Sewell?
I have a question.
Come back, Mr. Sewell.
Yes, ma'am.
You just stated you're the property owner of the building?
I'm one of the heirs of that building.
I'll go back and look at the minutes, but I understand, or maybe I misunderstood, Mr. Clemens said he owned the property.
I have it, well, we got the deeds, everything, should speak for itself.
Okay.
We got
So
our-
that means the contract that the company is to leasing it with. Yeah, we do need a copy of the deed because
Bring that up.
in the last public hearing, BHOLA was going into a contract lease agreement with Mr. Clemens.
That's not his property, you can't do that.
I'm just,
Okay.
you got a copy of the deed, you just need that.
We just,
Mr. Hines, the tax records indicate the property owner is Nelson Eugene Clements and others.
Here's the copy of the plat and tracks for the
Hey.
property.
Okay, there's that. Okay.
It was conveyed in a will, and the deed was sent to several family members, including this gentleman.
So can one individual rent the building without
I
consent
think
of all
that
of
consent
them?
of the others.
we've been through this before, Your Honor.
Okay.
And we've been through this issue before.
I haven't seen the lease.
That would be my next question. Do we have a
They done
copy of
tried it
this?
time after time, we've been through this.
Well, we have a copy of the lease.
Should have it back, I have a copy in my file.
I don't remember seeing it.
I haven't seen the lease.
There is a lease agreement between, Mr. Clements
Yeah,
and Ms. Toshaw.
they haven't been to us though.
Thank you for that, Mr. Sewell. Mr. Melvin Sewell, you asked to speak.
Good evening, everybody. This young lady, she's really actually not the owner. He isn't either. The owner is Kumar, which he's not here.
Excuse me?
Kumar.
This is the business owner for the property.
Yep. The owner of the store, what they're trying to get, what they want.
They didn't come in and pick.
Right. Now, this young man right here, we don't know, I don't even know nothing about this young man right here.
I'm sorry. Can we make sure that when people are speaking, they speak to us?
Oh, we certainly
And
can, I will do.
Your.
I apologize.
the board.
Well, I apologize.
Thank you.
I apologize.
Yes, we had to do that last time, yeah, just please, just.
Okay, okay. But here's the thing again. Our neighborhood is already polluted. Okay? Now, neither one of you all probably don't have a store in your community where you live, especially where you're trying to get the community to build it up. And somebody started coming there trying to bring stuff in there to bring it down. I don't think that's fair to the people living in the community. I really don't. So, that was mostly my main objection about this thing. They don't need to be a license. As far as I'm concerned, they don't need the store either. Thank you.
Hold on before you sit down, Mr. Young. Is there any other questions?
Yes.
Anybody with a question? Okay, thank you, sir. Mr. James Clements.
Good evening. I pastor a church in Atlanta, and I'm more nervous tonight than I am on Sunday mornings. Commissioners, if I may just read something that I just captured for the sake of brevity. My name is James C. Clements. My father's name is on it. He's James A. Clements, and he likes to make that distinction between the A and the C. I'm a 29-and-a-half-year veteran of the United States Army, and I'm retired. I'm a disabled vet. I'm the youngest of Ernest and Lola K. Clements' grandson, the original property owners of the property that's in discussion. I'm a 1986 graduate of Greenville High School and was a member of the 1984 Greenville High School football championship team, the last time we claimed championship in Meriwether County, or in Greenville. I'm a registered voter of Meriwether County, and my sister and I own 6 acres of land adjacent to the property of the proprietary for business license approval. And if I may for a moment, the privilege describe to you a more important reason why this request should not be approved. But first make a plea upon your conscience of morality versus money. My grandfather owned 184 acres of land and took pride in his property as a farmer. As I was told to me by my father, my grandfather stated he did not want people owning or own his property that he worked hard to achieve and the land that he worked hard to cultivate. He did not want his blood, his sweat, or his tears to be in vain at the leisure or pleasure of someone that did not earn a right to even pitch a pole on the property. I will be 50 years old in a few weeks. And from my earliest recollection, I recall my grandparents owning what was then Clements Grocery. My father even built the store. Since the demise and death of my grandparents, the name has been changed as so no one could live up to the legacy of my grandparents. My grandparents had beer license many years ago, but the difference is no comparison to the neighborhood of now. You see, back then, Clements Grocery was the center of gravity for the community of Zion Hill and a daily meeting place. The old Zion Hill community was comprised of 5 families: the Thompson, the Clements, the Tenney, the Rosser, and the Jackson, for a combined of over 1,200 acres of land that was divided by a fork in the road. The criminal deviance of today was not tolerated as the patriarchs and matriarchs of the family imposed discipline on their own. This store in question never had a concern for illegal drugs or even been robbed. As a matter of fact, the former sheriff of Meriwether County, Sheriff Dan Branch, had a long-standing personal relationship with my grandparents. People would drink, but everyone took care of everyone. My grandparents extended credit to people in the community. If there was no way to collect an outstanding balance, there was no need to involve law enforcement or any type of civil action. The community is of old no more. Many of the residents, whether renters or homeowners, have no idea of the heritage of this community. And like many of our communities, drugs are an issue, as the store was granted beer license in the past and a front for illegal drug activity. And we don't know if that will be the front for this now. A store that thrives on selling beer as a main source of income would not flourish, especially on a 10-year lease. I'm not very smart. I only have a bachelor's degree, 2 masters, and thesis writing on a doctoral. But for a community of 200 people, the income will not match the outcome. In a community where some still like to visit the local shot house for drinks and a beer, would not generate enough capital to match the investment. This rationale would have best been explained by some of the old men who used to sit around the courthouse square back in the day. I grew up next door to the store, and my father currently still lives there. My father drives a school bus for the county, and he's 82 years old. My parents both retired in hopes of living their last years in a peaceful place around family. I'm sure that there are reports of where I've called on several occasions over the years for behaviors of ill repute that jeopardize the safety of commuters and residents. I'm sure that the sheriff, he's here, could speak on some of the illegal activity that will be enhanced by providing a haven for a meeting spot for those of illegal activity. No one takes care or care for what you have other than you. And there's a vested interest in all of us, but the majority have no stake in the heritage or the lineage of the property. I see it as a travesty to have had law enforcement to conduct raids on what my grandparents slaved and labored for, and now have to even more people with a genuine lack of interest. That those that will not come and at the pleasure and will impact what my grandparents worked so hard for. Ladies and gentlemen, I ask you, and I implore you, how would you feel if outsiders had more influence on where you live than you do? How would you feel if someone that knew nothing about your community invaded your space and decided their interest was more important than your serenity? That's what home is supposed to provide. I'm sure that promises have been made and a plea to provide and support the community, but how do you do this when all the property in the community is private and nothing is public? We have heard empty and hollow promises in all of our lives to many of our high echelon politicians. Again, I ask, is sanctity, serenity, the heritage and lineage, the peace and the harmony of a community more important to the decision makers, less important than a few $100s to the county for beer and alcohol taxes? Morality versus money. I'd like to even contest the residency of the gentleman here as a resident of Meriwether County. I mean, he states that he has a full-time job of 40 hours a week. Again, I'm not very smart, but that would seem like it would be 60, 80 hours a week that he's either putting in that job and here to try and maintain a small store. Seems to me like there's a little, as the Bible would say, schism, or some of the older folks would say, a little shystiness. Thank you.
Hold on just a second, Mr. Cole. Is there any questions for Mr. Cole?
You lost your nervousness.
I did. I still got it. I still. It's easier when I get amen. Also, if I may, Mr. Chair, on the property deed there, if I may explain, it was 5 children. The executor of the will is Nelson Clemens. He's not here. He's the one who has taken care of any of the business in the past before. I'm speaking on behalf of my father. They're speaking on behalf of their mother, who was the only daughter, and she's deceased. We knew nothing about it. And this is coming right into the community, coming right next door to my dad. My dad's 82. He likes to sit on the porch on Sundays. We have enough of people driving up and down the road crazy and drinking and everything else. And I think that it really would. I'm not going to make any promises. I'm pastoring in Atlanta now. I pastored a church here in Greenville for a year. But I'd like to come back to Meriwether County at some point and try to invest something back into what was invested in me.
Thank you, sir. Yes, go ahead.
On the part about the deed having lots of names on it and having a lease with just one of them, I mean, I don't know that that's really our call or our concern, but isn't that something, is it something that?
It's potentially an invalid lease.
I was just saying, I mean,
But we don't know if there's been any conveyances, or we'd have to, we research the deeds and the titles and all of that. On its face right now, it appears to be an invalid lease.
thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other questions? Anybody else want to speak? Well, seeing none, I think we need to go out of public hearing and close the public hearing. Do I hear a motion to close? Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, sir. All in favor? We're now out of public hearing at this point.
Mr. Chairman, I would, for straight to act, I would recommend that a motion for the license. And I think the board has the prerogative based on what you've heard to make that decision.
Well, you've heard Mr. Gay, and what we're looking at is the upholding or not upholding of license. And I'd like to hear a motion one way or the other.
Well, I have a question.
Sure, you may.
I just want to clarify with the attorney. We really don't have a say, even if it is an incomplete lease. We only have a say based on the license
what we have before us has been, and we haven't seen the lease, it's been a lease that's been presented. But based on the deed that I've just seen, it appears that lease would be invalid without further conveyances, showing that either it's been conveyed to the person, the lessor, that created the lease, or that there's some agreement between the family members, and we haven't seen that. So as your attorney, I would say it's an invalid lease at this point.
So, I'd like, go ahead, sir.
Mr. Chair, I do want to ask a question for our attorney. In reading the ordinance, it is very vague, other than the fact that it indicates that the licensee or the representative has to be resident of Marion County. And I don't remember seeing documentation that specifies that the person is a resident of the county, other than what they filled out. So do we have anything else to confirm, or do we need anything else to confirm that they are actual resident of Marion County?
It's supposed to be in the affidavit, and it's not.
And it's not an affidavit. Okay.
That can render the application.
It's an incomplete application. Mr. Chair, I also want to make a comment at this time. When I first heard about you had to have a licensee or a resident of Marion County in order to be given a beer and wine license, I thought it was pretty interesting. I went back and read over the ordinance. I also took the time to, and Ron may address or answer this for me, because I just really want a little bit more clarity. In hearing that, I know that in Lucasville and other cities, that people have business license in the county and are residents of the county. So I verified with the city of Lucasville that you don't have to be a resident. I verified with the city of Warren Springs and Woodbury, and also Greenville. I didn't get verification from Manchester. I would just like to know why is it, and I don't have to give an answer tonight, why is it that the county has such a different type of ordinance in place, different from the cities? And I would just like to get some more information at a later time. But if the ordinance requires that you are a citizen, and in that there should be an affidavit attached to that to verify that you are a citizen in the county, and we don't have that, to me, that means we have invalid information for me personally to make a decision. But I just wanted to make that comment.
You said you talked to those other cities. You said that they did not have to be a resident to have a business license.
I'm sorry, I apologize.
So alcohol.
A beer, I apologize with my call, I
I just want
apologize.
to make sure.
Let me re-clarify that. When I talk to the other cities, if you want a beer and wine license and to operate in the city of Lucasville, Woodbury, Warm Springs, in Greenville, you do not have to be a resident of Marion County. So I just wanted to find out at a later time, why is it that the cities have such a different ordinance versus the county? And when did that, that's all.
And that's very true, even based on what Carolyn just gave us about sellers, that's in Warm Springs, individuals in Fayetteville.
Right.
But right now, we're governed by the ordinance that we have in front of us. And based on what it says and the stipulations and the criterias, and based on what's been presented today, and we don't have the affidavit to confirm that the licensee or the person who wants the business license, because it states that you have to be part of the management of that as well. So I just wanted to make sure that there was clarity in that. Thank you for acknowledging that I didn't say beer and wine license.
I just want to clarify.
Well, that's fine, yeah. But Johnny don't write anything on some paperwork.
Okay. Let's get back to the business at hand. It looks like that we have a license here, we can vote it up or down at this point. And I would like to hear a motion from the board as to what's your intention.
And I think the board does need to make a decision. I'd have to look at it again, but I think there are some time frames in here on the presentation of decision.
Based on the information that we've been given tonight and the ordinances that we have at hand and the no affidavit, and our ordinance clearly says that the licensee has to be on the premises, and that is not the case in this situation. I make a motion to deny the request.
Is there a second? Any further discussion? All in favor? Vote aye. At this time, we need to move on to old business. And it looks like the first item here under old business is an appointment of comprehensive planning steering committee district.
And I am ready to do that.
Okay, if you would.
I'd like to make a motion that we place Brad Foster on the steering committee. I spoke to him today, and he's more than willing to do that.
We have a nominee, Brad Foster. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion on Brad Foster? All in favor? Okay. Appointment to Airport Authority District 3, District 5, I think you told me you want to. There a second?
Second.
All in favor? Okay. Appointment to Recreation Advisory Board, District 5.
I'd like to make a motion to table, please.
Table, certainly.
Second.
Is there a second? All in favor? Okay. Appointment to Recreation Advisory Board, School Board. I had a talk with Ms. Kate King, and she said she's willing to continue her service. She would just like to see the meetings held a bit later, rather than 4, but holding at 6. But other than that, I'll lift Kate's name up for nomination.
So I have a question. If the meetings cannot be moved, how will Kay be able to serve? And I noticed at the last 3 meetings, I'm sure that Kay was not there, and I think there was some kind of rule in the ordinance or whatever, saying that, if you miss so many meetings consecutive.
And
So my only question is, will she be able to serve?
According to what she's saying, yes, if we could get the meeting moved to 16, if not, we'll be back filling that slot again.
That's right. That's a school board
But
slot.
that's a school board
Maybe it's a
slot.
person.
That's right.
I'm not spoken to, I talked to Dr. Dixon about the steering committee. We still serve on that, but not spoken to him about the school board. But the new doctor,
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Kate King on the rec advisory board from the school board.
And that is contingent upon able to move the meeting.
That's right. Move it to under thing.
Well, if they can't, then the school board needs to give it to somebody else.
That's true. Appointment zoning board of appeals. Number 5.
that was Linda Wilbur, and we've never spoken to Linda Wilbur.
I'll make that a motion. Linda Wilbur for the zoning board. There's a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Passes. Appointment to the board of health.
This month, and I want to recommend Ms. Alma Cox. She is a nurse. I was hoping that she had sent her resume, but she's a new, been in Maryland County now a year. She just completed leadership in Maryland, and she also just completed, is it a master's?
She got a bachelor's.
A bachelor's, okay, I'm sorry. So she's Alma Cox. And she's more than willing to be part of, she's excited to be.
We have a nomination for Elma Cox to the Board of Health. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Okay. According to our adjusted old business, that ends old business for this session. We move on to new business. Appointment to the Region 6 Department of Behavioral Health and Development, Disabilities Board.
Chairman, Commissioners, this is where we received a notification of the need for an appointment to this board. This is a board that serves 31 counties here, where there's one road. We have one representative seat on the board. It's currently vacant. It's a term of 3 years. They meet, I think, every other month on the second Wednesday. Next meeting is in March in Upson County, and members are eligible for mileage reimbursement, and they're asking the Region consider appointing a citizen rep to fill this current vacancy. We have some information they've sent about it's called the Development Disabilities and Addictive Diseases.
Who was doing that?
Ms. Roselle,
Oh, Marlene Roselle, okay. She doesn't want to do it anymore?
I haven't spoken with her. I'm trying to get in touch with this company for June of this 2017 to left messages. I sent a letter, but I never got a response. To get more information, I knew that the position would be filled, and I never got a response since we just got that letter. Yeah.
Well, is that something we need to table?
We just need to table it, try to find out. We'll also reach out to the current negotiations.
Well, I had found her, her whole profession has been in the mental health, developmental disabilities. Her whole career has been within that employment, and she was here with what's Pathways now for a long time. And I thought it had been a good fit. I mean, it may not have been, I don't know, because there's not a ton of people out there that has the knowledge, I know that she does, of this. I mean, she may not want to do it anymore, I don't know.
We'll reach out to her.
I think we need a motion to table.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? So tabled. We have a resolution appointment to the Board of Assessors. Anybody ready?
Chairman, I have actually spoke, we've got two members now, we've got third position open. I spoke to Cheryl Roberts, who actually has a Greenville address that kind of goes up in the Fort Lucasville area. Ms. Roberts is a longtime employee in the Coweta County Tax Commissioner's Office. She served as the bookkeeper for that office for probably 30 years. Extensive background knowledge in how the tax system works and the interactions between the assessor's office and the tax commissioner's office. I've talked to her about the necessity to go to school, the time involved with it. She is retired and would like to be involved in the community, and so she was willing to serve if the board would be willing to make that.
So we have, so Ms. Harvin's, everything's done with
Everything's
hers?
done.
Okay.
She's already in place, and she was at the meeting this morning. This will be the third committee member, and this will, the representative was serving this with up in the Lucasville area, and I think Ms. Roberts lives, as to say, she's got the Greenville address, and I think she lives up in Lucasville area. I've seen her there recently. It's about
What's her name again?
Cheryl Roberts.
Do I hear a motion from Ms. Cheryl Roberts? Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor? So passes. And I think the next item is to acknowledge third-party retirement tracking account. Is that yours?
Yes, sir, that is. It's just we have a third-party administrator who, they don't have the ability to move funds around, but they assist us and work with us on our retirement through Mass Mutual. And they really want us to realize that they're not the ones that move the money or things of that nature. It's just an agreement. It's really kind of housekeeping with part of the pension plan as third-party administrator. This is with Ameriprise Financial, and this is with the guy who's been dealing with Bobby for quite a while. And this is really, like I say, this paperwork catching up with with our pension plan, Ameriprise.
So there's really no action for us.
We just want y'all, confirm that I think Beverly has already signed the documents, and we just need to enter into the records.
So do we need a motion?
I would say a motion maybe into the
I make a motion to enter into the agreement with the third-party retirement tracking.
Is there a second? Any discussion? now we're very similar here. Confirmation of Mendola Consulting LLC confidentiality agreement.
This is an agreement for personal property auditing services. The Board of Assessors has already actually approved this, and they contracted with Mendola Associates, who is a very well-recognized personal property auditing company. They're going to come in and they're going to review personal property returns to make sure they're accurate. And you actually have a confidentiality agreement because a lot of the information they will look at is confidential because it's going to be business information. And also on top of that, you have a tax audit program services agreement as well. Both of these have been approved by the Board of Commissioners, and we really just wanted the board to confirm since you guys will be having to cover the budget for the cost of this.
No action required.
Just acceptance of the contract.
I have a question,
Sure.
Mr. Chair. So, this agreement was brought with the Board of Assessors,
Yes, ma'am.
so it comes out of their budget?
It comes out of their budget. We have budgeted dollars in their budget
In their
to
budget.
cover this cost.
Okay.
We just really wanted to get it back into the county records. You know, we talked recently about being sure that we have records of everything and where you can research and find it. And so we felt it was good to have it back in the Board of Commissioners records along with the Board of Assessors.
Right, okay, so is this an agreement that they already previously had, or is this a new?
This is an agreement that they've not had in a while, but this is an agreement that we talked about, we budgeted dollars for them, and this is a new agreement going into this tax year. And very honestly, I think that the result will be very good, and I would anticipate us budgeting again next year to continue this service. And this will be reviewing the personal property information that's sent in. You know, some people will just write same as last year, or they don't properly return it. And then those others that own real property, you know, we end up, if they don't properly return it, then we're not going to treat it fair as taxpayers. So this is just an issue.
What is the time frame that they are anticipating to do this? And then will we have the information prior to the digest time frame?
Yes.
What time frame normally does this?
The digest will be completed probably July,
Mhm.
and so this information and all will be completed this spring.
This spring?
It'll be, yeah, the changes they find and all will be reflected on the tax bill when it comes out.
That's all, thanks.
So at this time, you just need for us to confirm this for you.
Yes.
Do I hear a motion to confirm the Mendola Consulting?
So moved.
For a second.
Second.
All in favor? And the final item, well, next to the final item, I guess, here is confirm final qualifying fees. You have those for
I
us?
do, yes, sir. And I had, the last time I had the qualifying fees for the magistrate judge, which was $1491.65. Had the qualifying fees for the county commissioners, which was $249. What I didn't have was the Board of Education. I've now since got that income information and just averaged it, and so the Board of Education will be $170 for their qualification. I sent this already today, and she's already getting this published, but I wanted to bring it back since last time we didn't have the correct number for Board of Education. So this will be your new correct version. That will appear in the paper and be advertised for.
And you need us to recommend?
Yeah, I just need you to pass it and say we approve that, we'll get it in the minutes, because your other minutes reflected back in the tax correct that one.
Do I hear approval for qualifying fees?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? So passes. The last item here is the courthouse, the lighting, yeah. I appreciate you saying that, Mr. Mayor. I can't read my own writing. That's what we're looking at, the Christmas tree lighting for the courthouse. And you want to discuss that, yes?
Okay, this hopefully is a tourism project that we're developing to a tourism project. It's something that we're not asking the county for any money or anything. Only thing we're asking for is courthouse square. But in reality, we might need some more outlets around the courthouse. But what it is all 7 cities will be represented. And I have gotten a representative from each city. and we will meet Thursday after the steering committee. And what it is, we're hoping to light up the square, and each city will be represented with a Christmas tree, and then maybe one giant Christmas tree. So the details has not been worked out yet. Hopefully I will be able to be a chairperson, and we'll move from there.
And this, I think the request is just really to be able to utilize the court grounds for this. And the committee is a committee of tourism, whatever, it's not a committee of the county.
Request to utilize court square grounds.
So it would be for one night of lighting of it?
We could probably display it.
Oh, yeah, afternoon, probably start that afternoon.
Let me ask Sheriff Smith, if they were to do something like that at the courthouse for a one-time lighting and it becomes an annual, is there an issue with the courthouse being open, secured only to certain hallways to maybe place some type of cider or some beverage inside for those individuals to come through if they wanted to, but not have access to the rest?
We can make the courthouse available, but you gotta keep in mind, anytime that courthouse is open, myself and my personnel have gotta be secured the inner wall or the inner perimeter around that courthouse. So that's, for us to have problems, when you open it up, the courthouse just for the bathroom, we gotta pay a deputy sheriff to be there to have it open because by statute, I'm responsible for the security of the building itself. What y'all do on the square, hey, the courthouse belongs to everybody. And whenever we're open, it's just my job to make sure that everybody's safe within that perimeter. Anything outside that perimeter belongs to Miss Charlene.
I mean, we can have vendors or whatever sit out on the outside, so the outside is really all that we need.
You got the wider, on the sidewalk now, you could actually, if you need to or something like that.
Motion. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead,
The
Mayor.
outlets that you were speaking about, if it would be possible not to have them on time, because last year there was something wanted to be done in the afternoon, and the outlet evidently wanted time. So Mr. Garrett wasn't able to get any electricity light to have that done with the microphone and everything. And it has something to do with the timer being on, to make the lights come on at a certain time, then the outlet also operates.
So that's something that's already in practice, you're saying that you would like to have removed, the timer removed off the lights?
Yeah, so that it, not off the lights per se, but where you would be able to use the outlets before the timer is set. Yeah.
Well, I guess we need a motion.
Make a motion to approve the use of the courthouse lawn for tree lighting.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? I'll call for a vote. All in favor? So passed. At this time, we'll have a report from our finance director, Mr. Fields.
Madam Chair, you have the bank balance listed in front of you, all the accounts during the workshop, you made a note to walk out in the lobby. That was the architect on the fire station. He gave me the final plans, and after there, and I review those and get back with him, and they're ready for us to get the bid packages before the end of the month. I'll be able to send some of that fire money. And one other thing I have is the officers finished up this past Friday, even not being able to work 3 days last week.
We still got 3 days for that.
They finished in less than 2 weeks. That's all I have.
Any questions, Mr. Fields?
I have a question, Mr. Chairman.
Sure, go ahead.
Bill, I don't have the previous from the last time. The splash fund, I see that's an increase. We
Yep,
just recently received.
No, they hadn't made it, but the line payments yet, they didn't do it once, so that kind of went down. Two accounts, the construction account is what we pay bills out of, such as the building, renovating the 911 center and buying all the vehicles and stuff. The SPOS fund is the money that comes from park revenue each month.
So that
Pay the line.
compared to what it was the last meeting, it's just a much different amount.
Right.
All right, I just needed to verify.
Just for your information, we don't handle that money at all. Regions accept some money from park revenue and they issue the checks out, which is fine with me.
Any other questions? Okay, Mr. Farrell, County Administrator.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Since we met last, I met with forestry and we're coming back to talk some more about some items with timber. Met with GDOT Aviation in Atlanta, and I've kind of gone over that in the work session that we were getting at. Weather and holidays, everything last week, I felt like it was a non-productive week, and I'm glad to have everything back in normal this week. Did attend the Board of Assessor meeting this morning, and I think I mentioned our striping. We'll get started as soon as we're going to get the weather just a little bit better and a little drier. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Mr. Farrell. Appreciate that. We'll go ahead and start with our county commissioners. Commissioner Gregory.
I don't have anything.
Okay, Commissioner Ray.
I don't have anything.
Keep it going.
I wanted to mention, that Sarah and I both came back sick from the GDOT Aviation meeting, so does that tell you how rough it was? And the only other thing, I did get to attend the council meeting at Woodbury last night, and it ran with precision. I was amazed how quickly they got through there. Ms. Bennett.
One thing on Warm Springs, and Robin might confirm, but I heard today that we have another new business going to be opening in Warm Springs.
I heard that. It was posted on Facebook if that's considered a reliable source. So.
And it was somebody who was wanting to be a vendor for the spring fling, and then we withdrew that application because they said they're about to put on another gift shop there.
Right.
So that's good. And the only other thing, just in my mail, I was I'll give it to Darren and them. It's information about the hotel motel tax. It is very informative. They're just sending it out to refresh everybody's memory about how that's collected, where it goes, and where it should go, or whatever. So it might be something we'll make a copy and give to all the commissioners. And it has something here where they put mayor with the county in there. And I don't know if it's something else we need to do to reaffirm or whatever, but.
And I've got a copy of that, not had
You did? Okay.
look at it yet. I just kind of scanned it, and I will.
I think it'd be good information because it's been a while since this was enacted. And also as a reminder about the $5 a night hotel motel fee where the Best Western is so close to open. We want to certainly make sure that all this in place like it.
And I'll get that information out to you in writing. If you follow what we need to do, we'll do that.
Commissioner Hunt.
Just a couple of things. I want to thank Mr. Gay for putting together the meeting with Georgia Forestry and Public Works was there, Ron was there. It was a very informative meeting, and I would like to take the information that we, and I'm sorry, Commissioner Gray was there also. I'd like to take that information that we got from them and follow up on that and make sure that the information is given to all the commissioners. Still would like to have the opportunity to meet with our, with those in the temple. I think there was a lot brought to our attention that we may need to look at and address. So just want to follow up on that. The other thing is this coming Saturday in LaGrange, there's an event called Dream Chasers Day. It's being hosted for those who are working and those who are looking for a job, but their main objective is to talk about soft skills, to talk about time management, leadership, communication skills, and problem solving. It has been indicated that unfortunately part of the challenge now is people do get jobs, but they're finding it very difficult for people to stay on the jobs because they lack certain soft skills. This is not an isolated problem, it's kind of throughout the state. So, and with True County being a manufacturing hub, and a lot of people from Marietta County work in the True area. So they are trying to address this problem on a regional basis. So I encourage people to attend. It's free, there's no cost to it. It is this coming Saturday at the Callaway Center. It's from 12 until 5:30. They have different vendors, there are different employers who will be there. They allow people being there to talk about interviewing skills. And then they're also going to have a fashion show to dress for success. So once again, I encourage people if you want more information, I do have a blog, and I'll hopefully maybe can get it on our website. But anything to help those who are working be able to maintain their job and keep their job.
Okay, or at this time, Barrister Susan?
I don't have anything, but after public comment, we will need an executive session to discuss legal, personnel, and real estate issues.
Let me jump ahead for just a second to remind you about our future meetings. February the 14th. Man, that's right, 9 a.m. regular meeting. February 19th is President's Day, and we will have our evening session February the 27th.
Everybody's invited.
At this time, we are open for public comment. Anybody signed up? Anybody won't sign up? Anybody want to forget it and go to the house? I think we need the motion to go into executive session. All in favor? Let's stay over there again and settle for it. Thank y'all for being here.